Hey everyone, so what I'm going to be going through here is the install of the Murphy bed, DIY Murphy bed. It's going to go in this area here in my man cave. It comes with a kit that I got off Amazon. It's the that covers, well, that's got the frames, with the pneumatic arms, stuff like that, and then it comes with 3 pretty comprehensive instruction handbooks with the wood cutting, and the various assembly details. The measurements come in imperial sizings, so that presents a few challenges when you go down to Bunnings and looking for your materials. It's pretty cool, as opposed to paying upwards of $3,000. So far, even with a few tools, I've spent about $600. So the idea being to make a cost-effective means of either increasing the value of your property, or in this case, space saving for when we want to live in here. So rather than using a drop saw, because I don't have one, and for cost saving purposes, I'm simply using a hand-held miter saw. I do screw it down into the bench to help keep it in place. It works just fine to gain a nice clean cut. It takes a bit longer, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so here I'm preparing to cut the sheets of ply by way of a straight edge and some clamps. Pretty basic system, but it worked for me, cost effective, and I just wanted to show you guys that you can in fact get pretty much perfectly straight cut lines without the benefit of a table saw. Obviously a table saw is a pretty expensive item. So here you can see I'm cutting along the end of the sheets, and it does look like there's a fair bit of dicking around here, but in truth I'm just being very particular about where the saw is cutting in relation to the line, and provided the sheets are upside down, and so you're not looking at the finished surface, you can very carefully just put a little bit of a nick where you think the line is and adjust accordingly if you're not quite spot on. And when you get to the end of the cut here, you'll see I'm standing on the straight edge, remove the clamp, finish the cut, and then I can go back, carefully remove the front clamp, and then finish off. Okay, just about ready to cut the last sheet here. So yeah, this was rather fiddly, this last sheet. As you can see, heaps of smaller cuts. Noticing from the previous video footage, I was electing to cut with the straight edge up against this side of the saw. However, obviously it'd be a lot easier to run it on this side, given that the clamps are clear of the saw. And obviously this way, it's the clamp conflicts with the saw, so I've got to kind of jimmy it around a little bit. I can do these cuts here, I can run the saw like that, not a problem. And this one here, but these ones, these smaller cuts, I'll have no choice but to run it like so until I cut all these ones. I'll be working back this way. There's a lot of, obviously you have to allow for the thickness of the saw. You can see by the chalk line it's about 2 millimeters, so it's about the same, pretty much bang on the width of the saw blade. The end pieces, same deal, the opposite end, and be running the saw. Actually, I can probably do it this way. Yeah, I've been doing it this way, and you just get a perfect straight cut. All right, so without further ado, we'll get into the last sheet of cuts. Alright, so here I'm clamping the straight edge on both ends. Then it's a case of being very fussy with how the saw blade lines up with the line. It's a case of check and double check before making the cut. If I could run the right side of the saw along the straight edge, that would have been more preferable, because as you can see, each time I make a cut, the clamps kind of get in the way. But there's the finished result. Yeah, I was really happy with the way it turned out. And then it was a case of putting all the edge binding on, following the instructions to put it all together. There's a few mistakes along the way. And look, it's going to happen. I mean, like this one, for example, and even more so this mistake where I'd got a little bit ahead of myself and I had to tear off some panels to access the front panels to locate the mounting screws for the handles. But look, certainly not the end of the world, and although it took me a little longer to get the final job done, get the handles in situ, the end result still turned out to be well beyond my expectations. So if I can do it, then you can do it. And what's even better, for an all-up price with change out of $600 by my count, so I'm very happy with that. So there you have it, guys. My man cave wall has been transformed from this to this, and I'm absolutely delighted. The whole idea behind this video was not so much to show you how to build a Murphy bed. I thought I could provide some value by showing you how to make the materials, cut the timber, if you don't have the expensive flashy tools like I didn't have. So if you have received some value out of that, and it is my first video, so it's been fun to create. I would appreciate a thumbs up, and other than that, I wish you all the best for your build. So ciao for now.